I am the Sandman, and you're listening to Bitter Marks Podcast. These guys suck.
Bitter Marks. Bitter Marks.
I hate everything Ricochet. BT Dub. I'm already getting fired up again just thinking about that little twerp.
It started with the 80s WWE having cartoon characters.
Sure.
And then it morphed somehow into where we are today, which is like most people who watch wrestling, I would say, this is based on no study I've done, are into either the Marvel movies or something comic book related.
Sure.
And like, to me, that's bullshit. Give me a Terry Gordy. Give me a Stan Hansen. They don't need flashy colors. What do you think?
I do agree with. I mean, I like the Marvel movies. I'm fine with them, and I have a 3-year-old. He loves superheroes at this point.
That's bullshit.
Nah, he's cool. He's
all right.
superheroes and Ninja Turtles are really his life. I'm trying to get him into wrestling at the same time, but I'm fine with it. Are you against it? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not against it. It's harder for me to relate to wrestling. Like, I already have
because
a tough
Roman
time
punches the ground?
Because of everything collective. I think it's filmed to look more like movies now. I think the characters are more. They look more like characters. Yeah.
Marvel makes $1 billion like every 2 months, so that's probably why they're doing that.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's a dumb thing, and the thing is, I'm almost 37 years old now. So it's hard enough to relate to stuff from like 15, 20 years ago as it is. I mean, like, I know that stuff. I don't know now.
If you're talking about the over the top characters and the larger than life portion of it, I don't think that has anything to do with the comic books. I think that's what wrestling should be.
Another thing
that's the antithesis of why I'm sitting in this chair, and that half of wrestling isn't larger than life.
But for me,
and it needs to be.
Like, the first time I watched Lucha Underground,
okay,
I was disgusted. I was disgusted as a human being.
I mean, that is just like I was going to say a walking comic book, but that is a Marvel movie. But
yeah, it was too much for me.
Sure, to each their own. I get you.
And so to me, that's why it's like sometimes tough to watch some of the stuff, to get into some of the stuff, is because I want it still to be a carny thing. I know it sounds stupid and like petty, but that's. It's changed so much since, let's say, 20 years ago.
Tackle, hip toss, arm drag. Let's do this.
Exactly.
I'm in.
Back rake.
Yeah, there you go.
But we are back with another phenomenal segment called...
Oh, you didn't know?
In this segment, we're going to go over something that makes us look like idiots. And here to make you feel like an idiot. Tell him, Dan.
That's me, by the way.
Oh, Pee-wee. Sorry, it's Pee-wee.
Okay, I got some more. So continuing off of last week's conversation, Bret Hart and the sharpshooter.
No, don't do that. This might be a...
All right, continuing off of a previous conversation, whether it was earlier today or a previous episode. I've got another finisher that might blow your mind. This one's an ECW reference. Little Spike Dudley. Do you remember the name of his finish? It was that
the
diamond
acid
cutter,
drop,
the acid drop. Do you know why it was called the acid drop?
I assume he was a druggie.
Little Spike Dudley abbreviates to
LSD.
LSD.
Okay, I knew that one.
Okay,
I've heard that before.
All right, I did not know that one.
I've heard LSD as the
correlating to the acid drop. Okay, yep. The one I had, I'll give you another one. Now I've got a couple more of these. Are we doing these? Do you want me to act like this is weeks later again?
Yeah.
Do you need to do an intro every time?
No. And we're going to start this one with you saying, do you want me to act like this is a repeated weekly segment?
All right, so you want me to say that again?
No, it's already recorded. So you can go ahead.
Hi, Mom. Okay, I got another one for you. This one, I've heard this name. This is literally just based on somebody's nickname. But I'd heard this name forever, since the mid-'90s. And I knew this guy originally went by this name, but I'd never connected the dots to what it actually was until I was driving down 355 and saw these words on a billboard. It was for a jewelry store, and they were promoting diamond studs. Scott Hall was known as the Diamond Stud back in the day.
Okay.
I never did the correlation that a diamond stud was an actual thing. Anything?
You lost me on that one.
Did you know Scott Hall was known as the Diamond Stud?
Yeah, but I started paying attention when you talked about the highway, and then my mind went to graffiti.
Perfect.
Okay, so Diamond Stud.
That's all I got. I literally just thought his nickname was Diamond Stud. Did not think of any other reference outside of wrestling that what a Diamond Stud was.
No, that's on you. That's
okay. That's fine.
Pure incompetence.
Oh, you didn't know?
Oh, most of you did. The last one I have. This is probably another one that's pretty obvious. The Godwins. The Godwins were for our younger listeners, Connor, my 3-year-old.
Outlaw Jesse James.
The Godwins were how would you describe the
hillbillies? We're allowed to say hillbillies.
Yeah, farmer hillbillies, dirty. They'd come to the ring sometimes with a pig or a bucket of slop.
They would live in Yorkville, perhaps.
Bird.
That's more of a Bristol kind of
There
demographic.
you go.
That's
Local
humor
reference.
I just don't understand.
That's some Yorkville humor that you will come to understand.
Us Bartlett city folk don't understand your rednecks.
All right, speaking of rednecks, let's the Godwins. Do you remember their full names?
Henry R. Henry
O.
Godwin. And Ira? I don't know.
Phineas.
Okay, Phineas P.
Phineas. It was just Phineas I. Godwin.
Okay, so Pig and Hog.
Pig and Hog.
I never that doesn't blow my mind.
Okay, yeah, interesting.
But as you were
Kind of
saying it, I was
interesting.
looking for the nugget of
Sure.
what it could possibly be, and it jumped out at me.
Okay.
And now I feel like my childhood was wasted.
I do apologize. We can't beat the sharpshooter.
No, that was a good one.
Okay, all right.
I think that was a good one.
Anagrams. We're down with anagrams here.
Anagrams, Fantagram, Nunagrams.
So yeah, Pig and Hog. Phineas and
Tony, did you know that one?
I had to remember who they were. I don't remember. I think that was probably one of the segments of my life where I didn't watch wrestling.
Well, if one of them ran for office, let's say today, and it was in a
Fingers crossed.
progressive state, someone would go back and say, "Hey, 25 years ago, you wore a Confederate flag T-shirt under your overalls."
Sure.
And he would say, like, hopefully nothing. I don't think they're alive. Are they alive?
No idea.
This week on Dead or Alive, Hog and Pig, Henrius O and Phineas I, the Godwins. Now, we have two of them, gentlemen. I'm going to go with they've both been dead for a while.
Okay.
Pee-wee?
I'm gonna say, Phineas was Midian. Do you remember Midian? Oh, spoilers, by the way. Sasha hasn't watched wrestling. There's like a 12-year gap where Sasha
we'll get
didn't
to that.
watch
We'll get
wrestling.
to that. I know who Midian is.
You do know who Midian is. Okay.
He is not Mabel,
Correct.
who's Viscera.
correct.
Midian, he wrestled in like 99, 2000. So, yeah.
Okay, a long time before your
Let's just
before
say
your hiatus.
I'm currently watching wrestling from 2005, and
It's
there's
all
no
new.
pig. There's
All
no
right, that makes
pig,
sense.
and there's
Yeah,
no
yeah,
Midian. Because in my mind, he's been dead for 3 years at this point.
I'm gonna say Phineas is alive, and that Henry. Sure, I'll say Henry is passed.
And now I'm going to go to Tony, he was on his phone. This
He
might
may
not
or
be
may not
fair.
have looked it up.
I was looking to see which era they were in,
Oh, okay.
and because that'll give you a better idea of
Early 90s.
how many miles are on those tires. You know what I'm saying?
They were, I believe, managed by Sonny at one point.
At one point, yes,
Okay.
they feuded with her, and I want to say
Skip and Zip?
either the Body
So-
Donnas or LOD.
Late 90s, early 2000s
Era?
era.
Mid-90s.
Mid-90s?
I'd say, yeah.
I'm gonna guess one of them's dead. I'm gonna guess Hog is dead.
We have no love for Hog, but it seems like Pig
Pig is
Maybe.
going strong.
may be going strong.
Yeah.
According to Wikipedia, Henry has a born date 2 days after my birthday.
Ooh.
And
He's
don't look that
37.
up, by the way.
He's 37?
No.
Wow. Wow. I thought he was wrestling at age 12 and supporting the Confederate Army.
So Henry doesn't have a date of death, so I'm assuming he's still with us.
Well, where he's from, it takes them a while to get the date of death on the stones.
Sure.
So
No 3D printing where they're at.
And Pig,
That's Dennis Knight. I do recognize that name.
Mr. Belding from Saved by the Bell.
Perfect. Also, looks to be still with us.
Okay, both of them are live.
Godwins
All right,
are still
all right.
going strong.
Well, Godwin be with you, Godwins. Hopefully we'll see you at a convention, and we can have you as a guest.
Yeah, our apologies for thinking at least one of you was dead.
But you guys know why.
I mean, wrestlers. That's a good 50% death rate. Is
If you listen to John Oliver, 90% of wrestlers are dead.
90 plus. Yes.
probably yeah.
So, I wanted to ask you guys, how did you watch the golden age, as I call it, the WWF WCW years during the war era? Obviously, they were, for me, what I did was I used to watch WCW. I preferred WCW because of the NWO. And I would watch WCW, even though eventually there were replays.
Oh, I forgot about replays.
Yeah.
I just remembered that Nitro was 3 hours originally, and then Raw was 2 hours. So you get an hour
Yeah.
of Nitro first, and then you'd have to start flipping.
So
I forgot about the Nitro replay. Jesus
So-
Christ, wrestling was awesome.
Yeah. And the thing was, there was no DVRs.
Right?
So you had to
You
either,
could record one,
Yeah, which is what
but
I
Ted
did.
Turner did us all a favor and said, "Here, just watch it again, bruh."
Well, I just lied to you. I didn't record one. I recorded exactly what I was watching. So I'd be watching WCW.
It has the
Commercial would
flips.
hit, and I would flip to Raw.
Oh, the tape shows the flip. That is
Yeah,
fantastic.
and I believe I still have
I like that
those
even
tapes.
better. As someone who likes to relive their childhood, I'm a big video game guy, retro video games. I'd love that you'd be able to go back and view what you already viewed as a child. I say child. I mean, we were young adults at the time, but
So that's what I did. I didn't tape one or the other, and I concentrated mostly on WCW. The WWF, I didn't really watch too much at that point. I did the DX stuff when it came into it. It became more interesting, and it was a war for a reason. Both sides were kind of interesting, and it was who's going to be where, blah blah blah. That's what I did. What did you do?
Eventually we started watching them together, at least occasionally on Mondays, as a group with everybody who was in the DCWA, the Backyard League. Before that happened, before I started as a ref with you guys, I would just watch by myself. I'd watch both Nitro and Raw alone every Monday, and I had a whole routine behind it. Nitro started at 7, right? Central Time, 7 o'clock.
I think it was 6, wasn't it? Because it was an hour earlier.
One or the other.
One of the
Yeah,
okay,
I think
either way, an hour and 15 minutes before bell time for Nitro, I would put my rollerblades on.
Here we go.
And I would start rollerblading. What had to be, Tony, you might be able to gauge the distance as well. This was from my parents' house up to Taco Bell on Army Trail.
Wow.
Yeah, wow is right.
That's
like
a couple of miles.
Exactly, like 2 or 3 miles maybe.
Yeah, easy.
One way. I would rollerblade there. I'd pick up a couple tacos with just hard shell tacos, cheese, and meat.
Simple.
You still eat the same way.
100%. And a bag of nachos and 2 cups of cheese. One for my nachos and one for the tacos. Get a bag to go. Start rollerblading that 2 or 3 miles home, and then I would go into the basement of my parents' house. Dingy basement with one of those giant TVs, the big tube TVs.
It was the greatest basement I've ever been in.
Before it was done. My
Yeah.
parents eventually finished it, but yeah.
I've never been down there when it was finished.
Wow. Okay. I've got another
maybe.
story about my basement when it's not finished later, but
I think your sister lived down there when it was finished, correct?
I think she still lives down there. My parents don't live there anymore, but yeah.
And she still lives there?
Right.
All right.
There's new owners. I'd skate home, go into the basement, watch the first hour of Nitro, and then I'd start flipping back and forth just like anybody else would between WWF and WCW for the last 2 hours, eating my nachos and tacos.
Nice.
Tired as fuck from that.
That's a long-ass ride, man.
6-hour roller. Like I said, I was into hockey.
If we're not sponsored by rollerblades after this,
Just rollerblades. Bauer is a great. I think Bauer's a rollerblade company. They're either rollerblades or ball bearings.
hold on. I don't care about this.
This is interesting. Pod, are you saying this is going to get cut?
Tony, wait, hold for edit, Tony. And how did you watch the Wrestling Wars?
Well, I was mostly on the WCW train at that point. I really didn't care much about WWF at that
It
point.
was the NWO.
It was. It pulled me back into wrestling. Like, it was so good back then. It's still my favorite era of wrestling.
Did you ever watch? This leads to the next question. Did you ever watch ECW Hardcore TV?
Only after I met you guys. Because, like you said, it was on at, like,
at 2 in the morning.
2 a.m. on a Thursday or something like that.
It was either Friday or Saturday nights,
Yeah.
but it was still 2 a.m.
No, it was a weekday.
It was
guarantee
Thursday. I
It
think
was
it was
a Thursday.
Thursday.
I guarantee
I think
it was a
Thursday.
Thursday.
Well, I did school a lot.
Your Friday was a Saturday.
So it was
Yeah.
technically Friday morning if it was 2 a.m.
So
Right, yeah, but it's
I
still
did
a
not
school
watch
night.
ECW Hardcore TVs live.
Yeah.
I tried at certain times, but I couldn't watch them live. But I would record that, and then it was always followed by Music City Wrestling.
I didn't watch that. I knew what it was, but I didn't watch
They
it.
were back-to-back shows. And the only reason I knew what Music City was because you got that 30 seconds of over-recording or under-recording. And I saw it one day, and then I was like, I will watch the Colorado Kid versus Frenchie Riviera. Thank you very much.
Classic stuff. Yeah, that's good stuff.
How did you watch Hardcore TV?
I'd stayed up for it.
Amazing.
I
Oh, yeah.
stayed up, and I mean,
You
at
too,
least,
Tony?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
there was a handful. I think Putski may have too, because we would talk about it the next day at school. We'd all be tired
So
as
you guys
fuck.
would stay up
Yeah.
and watch, then go to school. I would record it and not go to school.
And then watch it Saturday. Absolutely. Yeah, I loved it. The ECW in general, I think, and it's going to be an overwhelming theme when we talk about our high school and early, I was going to say college years, but that's not the case for some of us.
Ouch, burn. That segment was called Burns. Burns by Dan. We've gone through many stages of wrestling, watching, not watching, all that kind of stuff, and now we pay attention a little bit.
Sure. Let's get to the bitter stuff, right?
We'll get there. But
Hurry.
what's your current wrestling schedule like? What do you watch? Is there anything you watch on a weekly basis? How often do you watch wrestling, and what do you watch?
Okay, good question.
All right, I'll start this off because it'll be quick.
On a yearly basis.
On a yearly basis, I will watch wrestling 2 times. Once is the Royal Rumble, which is Pee Wee's yearly party where we gamble, and
None of you Twitter fucks are invited.
yeah, you guys, you're not invited to this party. This is an awesome.
You hear that,
party.
Santino?
So I watched that, and then WrestleMania, which is tonight. So
Sure.
twice.
But that's not even a yearly thing for you. Like, you didn't watch WrestleMania
True.
last year.
in the past couple years, I think.
Also, after this WrestleMania, you're probably not going to host again. Is that correct? Once
Yeah,
you
it's
found out how long it is.
Probably accurate. Yeah.
And next year we'll be watching in this cornfield that I'm pointing to. Pee-wee?
Okay. I do watch more than Tony, but it's not a ton more. I watch at the beginning of the week. Sunday, I'll watch a big pay-per-view if it's a big one. Survivor Series. If we're not getting together with friends, I'll try to watch the whole thing. Same thing with SummerSlam, I'd watch. But like the smaller ones, I don't even know what their names are. Unforgiven, Judgment Day. What are their names now?
Sting or be stung.
Okay, perfect. Those I will usually read the results online, and then if I want to go back and look at something, I'll look at those. But I rarely will watch those smaller pay-per-views just because I watch them in the living room and my wife is awake at that time, and I don't want to put her through that misery.
I, on the other hand. So how do you watch Raw and SmackDown?
Sure. I do. Raw, I probably watch about 70% of the episodes, just from start to finish.
Live?
Live. The other 30%, my wife is awake for or in the house for, and I'll just either not watch them at all or just fast forward through them. Or if I have to go back and I want to view something based on what I read from Reddit or whatever, I will go back and skim through it. And I watch one Smackdown every 2 months.
Do you watch any other company?
Yeah, I just ended my sentence there. I wasn't even considering wrestling between Wednesday and Saturday. I don't watch NXT on Wednesday. If they have NXT pay-per-views, I will try to watch. I did watch the one WrestleMania weekend, the one that was
Takeover New York.
yeah, the greatest show on earth, according to Dave Meltzer.
I'd
How
like
do you
to
feel about
just interject for a second. I still thought SmackDown was on Thursdays until like last week.
I mean, starting at the end
Yeah,
of this
wait
year,
long
it'll be
enough
on
and it is.
Fridays. So
Really?
Oh, I thought it was going to be on Thursdays. This is how little I follow the product.
Wow.
I think it's Fridays.
You could be right. So yeah, I don't watch NXT on Wednesday. I don't know when TNA airs or where it airs.
So
I
you
wanna
don't
say
watch
Friday.
anything besides WWE and occasionally NXT.
No,
stuff.
my main source of wrestling is Reddit. I go to Squared Circle on the Reddits, and the whatever's on the top like 50 posts, I'll go through those and just see any gifs or anything that I want to see.
And then we are all in minus Tony, but we are in a wrestling text chat together
Sure.
that we send clips randomly of what's hot
Just
this
random
weekend
cool
and
stuff,
what's
yeah.
not. And then Putski complains about it because he gets 75 texts and never contributes. He's
Sure.
a piece of shit.
But yeah, I don't watch, like, I don't seek out any indie shows. Again, if it's a clip on Reddit, I'll look at it. But it's, as you guys will learn, I'm not the biggest fan of high spots. I'm not a big fan of deathmatch stuff. I'm not a big fan of anything that doesn't make sense. So that's a lot of indie wrestling right now.
Now, I'm your fearless leader, and if you're listening to this, you're like, why are these guys even talking
There you
about
go.
wrestling? And now I'm going to go through my schedule here, and my schedule has...
Go ahead. I'll see what you say, and then I'll cut you off.
So I watch Raw and SmackDown live if I'm home. Sometimes I'm working, sometimes I'm not. I work about 20 hours a week. It's a beautiful thing. But sometimes I have to go work nights, or it'll go into like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So I watch Raw and SmackDown, usually day of, whether it's live or recorded. I watch Impact on Fridays, which is on...
Every week?
Every week.
Wow.
Which is on Twitch. It's the only way, I believe, to find it. I watch Ring of Honor, which is on Fight TV, a free app. They put them out on Mondays. I usually watch those on Wednesdays.
This is blowing my mind.
When I watch NXT as well. NXT and Ring of Honor's weekly show, I'll watch at the same time because they're both an hour long.
Okay.
And it's usually either Wednesday or Thursday if I can't watch it on Wednesday.
Here's a question for both of you. It's a different question, but related to the same thing. Tony, do you know that a show called 205 Live exists, and it's a WWE product? It's their cruiserweight show.
No, but that sounds like 227 back in the day. That comedy show that used to be like
That
on
would
UPN.
that would be a better weight class
Yeah.
as well.
Do you watch? So my question to you is: do you watch 205?
No, I'm actually on a different podcast called STF Underground, which
Never
I'm
heard of
sure Pee Wee will get
Yeah.
to shortly. We actually discussed recently how, like, I don't even care about the match. There's a championship match from 205 Live on the WrestleMania card, and I don't watch 205 Live, but since I consider WrestleMania the New Year's Eve of the wrestling year, my resolution is to try and watch more.
Tomorrow's a new year.
Yeah.
So
So I'm going to try and watch 205 Live regularly.
You're going to add more wrestling to your...
Yeah,
your
and so
watching.
keep into
You
mind...
haven't even gotten to the majority of your wrestling watching for the week.
Well, so outside of that, I do watch anywhere from like 9 o'clock till about 11:30 at night is when I started catching up on anything from the years 2001 to 2014.
Okay,
so
why are you doing that?
So I've never seen those years in
What's
my
wrong
life.
with you?
And so I'm trying to go back and see everything that I didn't see. So I'm watching every Raw, every SmackDown, every pay-per-view from that era. I'm currently in September of 2005.
So you've already worked through 4 years of Raw, SmackDown, and pay-per-views.
Yeah, it's taken about a year, maybe longer, to get through just that stuff
God,
alone.
your poor wife.
So I haven't seen her in months. So she might be poor, she might be rich. I don't know. But
What
then
about
I also
at that time period? So this is the fun thing about Sasha is that we can go back and ask him, "Hey, in your timeline, are you at this? Has this happened?"
and then I get angry because you guys
Yeah, because we go
stuff.
too far ahead. Yeah, is this might be a spoiler? Is Sunday Night Heat is that a thing? And are you? If so, are you watching it?
I believe it has come and gone.
But you didn't watch it when it was a thing that you could have watched.
Yeah, I didn't want to because I tried watching a couple of them and I was like, "There's no. This doesn't further anything."
So
this
Heat
doesn't do
was like
anything.
the pre-show of the pay-per-views,
Yeah.
right?
But it was also
Basically.
a weekly show. If
Okay.
there wasn't a pay-per-view, they still had
would still have
an
a show.
hour. Yeah.
So some stuff has happened on pay-per-views where they're like, "Could you believe it on Heat earlier tonight?
But they
this
recap it,
happened."
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it could be like tag champs, new tag champs,
Okay.
and then they defended them at a pay-per-view or
Gotcha.
whatever.
That makes
But
sense.
that to me, I don't want to watch that.
That's too
that's
much
too
already.
much.
What are you going to
Yeah.
start watching Superstars? Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I have no interest in that. But once I finish 2014, then I'm going to go back and I'm going to do the same thing from like the beginning of time.
Goodness.
Beginning of since WrestleMania 1 time.
Okay.
Either that or the beginning of Raw in general, because I don't remember like the beginning Raws.
Okay. And this Sasha and I do share this. We do have this in common in that our professional wrestling careers both started around 2001. And for whatever reason, we both stopped watching the main product from WWE
Almost
at that
immediately.
Time. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's almost like we got not too enveloped, but we just have too much going on, traveling around, training, doing everything we could to be a professional wrestler to keep up on the actual inspiration that we have for us on TV.
The product was bad though.
Yeah,
at that-
It wasn't.
time.
It wasn't bad at
You're
that
offending
time.
Sasha right now.
I'm
This
sorry.
is, this is his lifeblood.
I've had to because I thought it was bad as well, but it's not as bad as what I'm going through currently, which is
Okay.
2004, 2005.
Where are you at right now? Like what's on?
Who's the
Raw and
champ?
SmackDown
Who's the
right now?
champ?
Okay,
Good question.
in the 4 to 5 years that I've watched, the only thing that I really care about is that I missed the career of Heidenreich. People think I'm joking. Tony has
Tony
no.
I don't
know
never
that
heard
is.
that name in my life.
So Heidenreich is, I mean, he is my cousin Nick, Big Daddy Bluff, the Bluffosaurus Rex. He recites poetry. If I remember the name of it, they're called disaster pieces. And he walks and he swings his elbows.
Wow.
He's incredible.
I know who Heidenreich is. I didn't. He's like this monster heel, bad. Like he just always he has like a resting bitch face. Like he's always angry. I didn't know he had a baby face run. That is
Yeah,
amazing.
I was gonna say. Let me tell you, right now, he is. Yeah, he is the biggest face in the world to me. And he started bringing children into the ring, and they would do his strut with him.
Wow. They had nothing else to go.
Dude,
off of
he
at that
got
point.
over huge in my
That's
room.
unbelievable.
He looks like Dolph Lundgren. I'm looking at
Sure.
pictures
Yeah.
of this man.
Well,
He
so
looks like Dolph Lundgren mixed with like Brock.
so what just happened recently,
least
within
that picture.
the past quote-unquote year, Hawk from Legion of Doom died. So they're like, how do we capitalize on this? So Animal comes in and takes Heidenreich under his wings, and they win the tag team championship.
Heidenreich's got the LOD paint on.
As of the last episode I saw, Animal was like, hey, you would make Hawk proud, fella. But there's one more thing you gotta do. And he hands him the spikes. And by the way, it's 11 o'clock at night. I'm screaming. I'm crying. My wife has to go to
man.
work in the morning. But that's seriously, to me, the best thing.
But that's literally the last episode that you watched.
If not the
Around
last,
there?
then the second
Do
to
you
last.
see how
yeah.
close I was to spoiling that for him? This is like this. I have to tiptoe my
Yeah,
life
you gotta. Yeah.
around a. We're in a wrestling text chat together, like making any sort of reference.
Yeah,
You've got to
yeah.
double check your history to make sure that Sasha's already seen it because
like-
he's literally never seen these guys in his life.
Oh wait, when did Stone Cold bring out the beer truck? Can I
Right, yeah,
can I
it's
mention
that kind of stuff? Yeah.
If I see a text come in and you guys reference something, like this year you sent out a Royal Rumble video from Royal Rumble 2005, and
Okay. I don't know why I sent it, but yeah.
I don't know either, but I was right before 2005 in my watching, so I clicked on the link and I saw what it said and I turned it off immediately, and then I didn't answer your guys' texts for like 6 hours.
Until after you saw the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
That is amazing. You live a
I-
very protected, and
I am
here's
trying to as much as I possibly can.
the word I'm looking for is dedicated. It's unbelievable what you've done so
Well, here's
far.
the thing.
I'm very interested to hear your progress throughout this venture up to 2014. We're not even halfway there.
No, not even close.
What some people don't know and what most people do know is that I have nothing but time on my hands. I have no hobbies. I stopped watching sports altogether. I literally just watch wrestling or work, and
That's where
Yeah.
Tony's in trouble because you said you work 20 hours a week.
Yeah.
20 hours a week to me, I get that much work done in, I was going to say 4 weeks, but that's a super over exaggeration. I'm talking like, as long as I'm not going anywhere, like I'm working an hour and a half a week. If my company is listening to this podcast,
You're in
every
trouble.
portion of this character is that of a character. But Tony, we might be recording a new podcast episode daily.
Sure.
We're just putting out a new episode every hour on the hour.
I'll have to tell you guys how to record then.
Done and done. We got nothing but time.
yeah, so I have basically nothing going on, so that's kind of why I started watching
Sure.
wrestling again.
Also, it kind of boggles your mind at how much content there is.
Yeah, it's
Like,
unbelievable.
That's fucking crazy. That,
I have not even gotten to the point where Raw is 3 hours yet.
Jesus.
That's insane.
Have they bought the WCW yet?
They did.
Yeah,
They did?
That was
Okay.
that was early 2002.
Something, yeah. I
Sure.
don't know. It was a good time, but bad wrestling too. Like nothing
Do you
really.
fast
good came
forward
out.
through anything?
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many Snitsky matches I can watch. Tony, I know you don't know what that is.
Nope.
Snitsky's the worst wrestler of all time.
Snitsky.
Although he did kick a fake baby.
Okay, I
he
was wondering if you
punted
got
a
there.
fake baby, which was hilarious. I got there about 6 months ago.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
But yeah,
Unbelievable.
there's a lot of bad. They're in like the 7th version of Val Venus, and I'm not gonna watch another Val Venus match the rest of my life. And he was actually
I don't mind Val.
This weekend he wrestled at the Joey Ryan's penis party. Tony,
Okay.
it's a wrestling show.
What?
But yeah, so there's so much content and it's unbelievable. But I go through periods where I like watch every day for like 6 weeks. Saturday and Sunday I'll watch like 8 hours
Good
of
God.
wrestling. But you say good God, but I see our buddy Giuseppe playing Tom Clancy's Book of War or whatever it's called. And he plays just as much as I watch.
Sure.
So we're just spending our times differently.
Yeah.
But yes, and then I'll go into times where I'm like, all right, I'm going to play Tom Clancy's War Machine.
War is God.
Yeah.
Amazing. I do wish you luck on that. Please keep us updated on how that nightmare is going.
Oh, I definitely will.
Thanks.
All right, that's it for this week. Big thanks to the Sandman for that intro. I swear I didn't pay him $15 to do that. He's a personal friend of mine. Follow us at Bitter Marks on Instagram and Twitter. And if there's anything specific you want us to talk about, email us bittermarks@gmail.com. We'll see you next week.